Hi everybody and welcome to SA Rugby Magazine. As usual, I've got Mark and James with me. Hi guys.
Good day, gentlemen. Hope you guys are well.
I'm good, James. Mark?
Hell, I'm better than Italy.
Well, yeah. We got the Six Nations this weekend. It's a crucial match in Ireland and Dublin versus with the French and Irish. Let's start there. I thought Ireland were a bit unlucky last week not to be playing with 14 men. I think that the IRB should be looking at that rule and make some change to always have a 15-on-15 contest in rugby.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Not like soccer where you can get away with playing with one man down without being embarrassed, but I mean...
It makes it bloody hard for the punters out there, because if you're going to factor in a team could lose a player, you're never going to bet on a match, are you?
No.
But I think France really, they have the traditional old French teams that were good but inconsistent would go to Rome and win 28-15, 35-17. They stuck Italy away 50-10, which Italy a poor side, France a very good side, and that's the kind of performance you want to see. So I thought they were very good in the way they dismantled Italy. We knew they would win. Ireland, losing to Wales, they were man down. O'Mahony sent off early on. So, but they haven't been good since Joe Smith left, and I think France, I'm backing them to win there. They'll be mindful that they were in a similar position last year. They went to Murrayfield and they lost. And that kind of basically cost them the Six Nations. So I reckon I've got them to win, and that will be a measure. This is a French team on the rise. Obviously their bigger challenges will be when they do tour overseas and when they do entertain the likes of South Africa and New Zealand at the end of the year. But loving what I'm seeing from them, what Gaultier is doing. Dupont at 9 is really playing well. And they've got a lot of youngsters who have come through from that under-20 side that dominated World Rugby the last 2-3 years. So nice to see.
They've won back-to-back under-21 World Cups.
So nice to see them, and I think that will be the match of the weekend.
Yeah, I like how they put away Italy. Like you said, usually they go and they don't really rise to the occasion. They usually lower themselves to the standard, and beating Italy by 40 points. And I think that was Italy's 11th loss in a row.
28th in the Six Nations, and 2015 is the last time they won. That was against Scotland, and their average score is 40-13. And
they did beat Fiji 28-0.
They did do that, yeah. They broke the rut. But yeah, a lot of people also saying enough is enough now. How long do you carry this Italian side in Six Nations? There was that Diego Dominguez side in the mid-90s. That was a very good Italian side that came through. They got them into the expanded Six Nations, and never again have they managed to function. They've had the odd win under Nick Mallet. They beat France twice, I think. But at the time where France was losing to most teams, Pox the odd win against Ireland, the odd win against Scotland, and I think they may have done Wales once. But they
time to boot out the boot-shaped company.
Well, I think everything has a sell-by date, and if you look at a lot of the world competitions at the moment, they need a revamp and a relook. And like Mark said, now it's enough. Italy are watering down the quality of the 5 or 6 nations, whichever way you want to see it or call it.
With the 5.5 nations, really.
Well, and then there you get Scotland going beating England first time in 36 years.
Yeah, but if you take, Scotland, even with the times they've struggled, they've always been there or thereabouts. Yes, and especially at Murrayfield, they've always been a very tough side to beat. And you look now, and we look at England, and a lot of heat on them following the Scottish defeat, how poorly they played in that final, even though they won it against France, that inexperienced French team in the Nations Cup. Now they get Italy at Twickenham on Saturday. They'll roll in by 40.
Yeah.
What have we learned from that? Nothing. So we've got to wait another week to hear Eddie Moan say, well, we're on the right track or we're not on the right track. So that's like such a nothing game. And then Wales...
It's not going to be attractive rugby from what I can see. Is they're expecting gusts of up to 26 miles an hour, which is it's like 40 kilometres an hour. So it won't be attractive rugby.
No, and then you've got Wales going to Murrayfield to play a fired-up Scotland in front of no one again, and Wales 7 changes because of injury. So really, the as we keep on saying, the match of the weekend, we're following France at the moment. How do they go every time, home and away, and they're doing this without supporters as well. So, and the French tend to rely on that passion of supporters. So yeah, they're a quality side.
Well, it's nice to see like a rise in another nation, and if that other nation is France, then I'm looking forward to them playing like the likes of South Africa and New Zealand to really see how good they are.
Yeah, they've always been a nation traditionally known for being easy on the eye in terms of the way that they approach their football and their flair. So let's get it. Who's going to win? Who are you picking? Let's start with James. Who's winning between Ireland and France?
Ireland and France. I would go with France purely on form at the moment.
Give us a score, Jenny.
Score. Let me say 24-15 in favour of the French.
Do you want a score or differential?
Give us a score.
France, the differential for me is 7, so 23-16 to France.
Yeah, so I'm the same. I think about a 20-15 game for France. So I think they'll cover the 4.5 that's on offer by the bookies. So for those out there, you've got to take France this weekend. They're certainly on the rise, and Ireland, a team a little bit off the bit. Let's get on to the Italy-England, the who cares game. 30-point
differential regardless of the conditions. 40-10, maybe an intercept for the Italians. Be kind of tightish at halftime potentially. England have made 5 changes. They are low on confidence, but they'll roll them because they have to. They're that much better just in terms of quality of players. It doesn't matter who's coaching them. Apparently Eddie Jones said it doesn't matter either because when they go on the field they make their own decisions. So he says you can only give them a template.
To that conclusion.
Yeah, I can only give them a template. He's under a little bit of pressure in the sense that they seem to quickly just rubbish that 32-12 World Cup final defeat. They stumbled their way through a Six Nations they shouldn't have won, and they kind of got it, and Eddie was back. The Nations Cup, they were awful in how they played in that final against France. They were 19-12 down right to near the end. They got the late try and then won it in extra time. And they were diabolical against Scotland. 11-6, it could have been 36. They were lucky to get the 6. They had 25% of the ball. They looked poor. He's picked all these Saracens players that aren't playing at the moment. And I keep on reading on social media how crap our Currie Cup is, how awful our SARugbymag is, how it's all doom and gloom again here. You look at that England side, you look at Wales, you look at Ireland, and everyone's talking up a feisty Scotland side that will provide 3 players maybe for the British and Irish Lions. And in our absence, we're looking a lot stronger for that Lions series.
South African winger again scoring try against Eddie Jones.
Yeah, he must be. He
must be hating that.
He must be hating that, and he must be hating South African props and South African scrum coaches, because Peter de Villiers, the French international, is the scrum coach of Scotland. He did tweet me when I said congratulations. It took 23 players to beat Eddie's England in Tokyo. It took 4 of you to do it at Twickenham, and 3 of your boys in the last 20 minutes. And then he gave me a little smiley face because there was the Matt Proudfoot, Peter de Villiers little showdown there. Yeah. Peter de Villiers was Russie's preferred choice, and because of family illness to his wife's dad, he had to pull out. He had to go relocate back to France. Proudfoot stayed, and I think this was a nice one for him to show what he could do with the Scottish side with 2 Laka Boursians in the front row.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, well, not so much a Boursian, but South African, and then VP and Nel. And so, this thing again, we keep on saying it of doom and gloom with South African rugby. The Boks haven't even played yet. It's not looking that flash for the British and Irish Lions when you see what's on show at the moment.
No, for sure. And how about Wales? What do you think, James? Italy? Give me a score on Italy, England.
Geez, I think England by 50. To be quite honest with you, I think they've made changes for the better, but I think England are going to pump them properly.
Okay, so you'd be laying the points at 35.5. You think you're going to win by more than that? Yeah. I think they'll probably win that a little bit more as well. Okay. I mean,
the bookies, what have they got?
35.5. Okay. So I mean, England have to get up for this game, unfortunately for them, and have to show something.
Look, and the reason I also say that Italy simply can't front them up front. And again, it goes about, if you looked at how South Africa dismantled England, it was all about negating that contact point. Yeah. And the Italians won't have that ability. And if England are going to be too strong for them up front, they've got good running backs, they've got backs with flair, they've got backs that can finish. And obviously with the change with Ford coming back at fly-off, and what's the centre's name again? Farrell. Oh, Farrell, our favourite. An inside centre, I think that's going to be a big change in their style of play.
Look, I don't think it matters who they have in their backs against Italy. Their forwards get dominance. No, their forwards get dominance, and whoever's playing will be good enough to kind of maximise that. I don't think he's going to be any the wiser after this game.
No,
certainly.
And it may kind of create the illusion that things have changed, and they'll come up against France in a couple of weeks' time in March, and then that's the test, and maybe they've learned nothing. He did say they've learned nothing really from the French game up until now, which is surprising about how he's gone about his selections and who he's retained faith in.
Yeah.
Can't wait to play them at the end of the year, the Box.
Yeah. No.
And how about Wales-Scotland? That should be it's always a bit of it's always a good game, Wales-Scotland.
Yeah, and again, we keep on saying it'd be nice if it was Murrayfield with 65,000 people.
Yeah.
But Scotland have got good energy. Finn Russell being back at 10 has been he and Gregor Townsend had a big fallout. He wouldn't pick him for about a year. His thing was Finn Russell had to decide whether he wanted to be this wonderful player playing for Racing Metro, be this Parisian, or did he want to be a Scot who played for Scotland, and that within the team dynamic. He's come back and he really does add some sparkle. He's definitely the best 10 in terms of flair from the home unions at the moment. And so I think home ground advantage, definitely just being familiar, being at home. Scots to win it, I would also say by 10 or more, given that Wales have got 7 changes, really injury hit.
Yeah.
And I don't think still Wales would have won had they had been 15 on 15 in Ireland.
No chance. Absolutely no chance.
Yeah, look, with so many changes, more than 50% of literally of the team, are they going to have momentum? You know, how easy are those guys going to be able to implement the game plan that Wales want to play? So I'll go also with Scotland by a small margin, by 5 to 7 points.
Yeah, I think you might be right, James, because my big worry about Scotland, it's easy to get up for England, everybody hates them. But getting up for the Welsh, everybody loves them. I'm always
not biased when you say that.
No, not at all. I'm always weary of a team having to get up, and it was so draining to win that match. And it's not as if Scotland hadn't had a few injuries to cope with this week. They've got 3 guys out, and he's had to make 3 changes. I think it will be relatively close. I think it'll be single digits. I think 6 for me, but still enough. I like Scotland with the minus 4.5 to win that. So let's hope for a good weekend of rugby. And next week we've got the Super Rugby, the not so Super Rugby starting again.
Exactly.
Thanks everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.